Hello, everybody. As we welcome you here to Nashville, Tennessee, here at the virtual Nashville Superspeedway here for 9 here of the AWC Pro Series Season 20 for these drivers for as they continue to count down their last couple races to start the chase here for the AWC Pro Series. Hello, my name is Christian Delgado, alongside Carter Kingsley up here in the booth one more time here for the AWC Pro Series. And Carter, Nashville Superspeedway, very unique track that we're coming to here on week 9.
Yeah, it's 1 1/3 mile, I believe, completely concrete. So it's one of the more unique tracks on the schedule. It's got the cookie cutter shape, but just the distance in the concrete just throws in a ton of variables, including temperature and rubber buildup, and just how it kind of evolves through the race.
Yeah, you put on the nail there. Nashville kind of drives kind of like that mile-and-a-half track we're used to seeing, but the concrete definitely makes it its own kind of unique style of racing that we come to every season here. And when we come to Nashville, not only on the sim, but obviously in real life, we see at least the Cup Series come here every year. I'm not sure about the O'Reilly Series and the Craftsman Truck Series, but yeah, definitely tends to put on some racing, especially with that big bump out of turn 4. That is definitely going to be interesting to see as the race goes on. Who's going to navigate that bump and who's going to maybe lose it there out of 4. But it's going to be interesting to see. We will let's go ahead and take a look a little bit early here at your race coming in Nashville this week. Obviously, a really chaotic and really entertaining race last week at Auto Club. But we come here to Nashville. Bryson Bird still leading the field here with those 33 points over the 20 of Enrique. On Wyatt Roberts back there for Gilberto Camara has stuck his way inside the top 5, and Sam Outwell is very very quietly stuck his way inside the top 5. Dick Scarborough, Brett Bennett will follow down at that top 8, which is drivers left there in that cutoff.
Yeah, Ryan Ronabum in P9, looks like 57, plus 57, Brendan Reed, Adam Tall, and Carlos Acosta. So around this cutoff line is where we're mainly going to be focusing for points as we head into the chase. Obviously, getting a better seat in the chase will give you a better, time fighting for the championship. And I'm not sure the guys down this far down the list are possibly looking to win a championship, but just getting in the chase alone is for sure an accomplishment in AWC, especially with how many talented drivers there are. I've raced with many of these guys, and always very respectful. So Ryan Jones looking in -17 to the cut line. Not a very big gap, definitely manageable with 3 races to go. Michael Kruger, Christopher Logan, and then Darren Staff to round out 16th.
And someone I'm really going to be looking at is Michael Kruger. He's got pace. We know he can be quick. I race with him on Tuesdays in the Slide Job Racing League, and he's super quick. He's gotten a win there in that series on Tuesdays. So I'm looking at Michael. I'll say this: he's made a lot of mistakes this year. That's why he's back there, the points. But interesting to see what these drivers do. But I think it's time to go trackside and take a look at the fastest drivers on the track right now. The right trackside. A couple notable drivers as we talk about Michael Kruger. Number 41 is currently P2 in practice. So something to definitely look at here. We approach just under 5 minutes left in practice. Darren Staff, someone also outside the cutoff, right here in this number 45 machine. Korean practice. Now back to P4 is Cameron Rich, just as we were talking about it. Took away that P3 position in practice, but Ty McIntosh back here, part-time driver here in the 10 machine. Glad to see him back on the surface. Enrique Cuculon, who is obviously P2 points, and so pull up fastest times here up on the left side. Here's those who is quick, who is not, and maybe some notable drivers to look at as we see Gavin Austin in his second race here with us, top of the charts.
Yeah, really impressive for Gavin. This is his second race in AWC. He was able to win the first at the Chicago Street Course, so he will definitely be one of the guys to look out for. He's always very fast, great friends with Gavin, and looking forward to see his performance throughout this race. I would like to point out Bryson Bird, our current points leader, always fast. I mean, incredible driver at every race we go to. He is sitting P12 in practice, so I'm not sure if he just hasn't gone out on track that much to set a great time, or maybe qualifying isn't his strong suit here. But P12 is a little low to for our standards usually for Bryson here. So we'll have to look out for that in qualifying and see where he ends up.
Qualifying is going to be definitely a key talking point as we count down into practice. I mean, just track position in general, especially in this new O'Reilly machine with the update. You know, they added dirty air to the car. There's just so much, you know, against the drivers that we're used to. And yeah, it's just super, I would say, frustrating as a driver sometimes to have to navigate the dirty air now with these cars, but that's how it races in real life. Something I do want to mention here on the broadcast, though, is it's not really official, but it's kind of an unofficial, official thing. Obviously, we're here in Nashville, you know, Music City. These drivers have decided to, you know, make some custom schemes, you know, some band/artist schemes. Obviously, I'm a big fan of, you know, making based off of, you know, music to listen to, but I kind of wanted to take this little last bit of practice to kind of look at some of these paint schemes. Obviously, you see Ryan Rambam here in the Deftones. I think I saw 57 of Brian Reed right here with the warning, and with some of his music on here. He's actually our thumbnail car. Someone who really got pointed out to me to look and see drivers. But obviously, I really love the fact that some of these drivers, you know, are going out of their way to you know, you know, it's Music City, right? You see now the 22 of Enrique, the new scheme on. I'm just embracing, you know, the music theme, you know, race night that Nashville's known for.
Yeah, and very special to see those schemes. We see Tootsie's show up here in real life. If you're ever in the Nashville area, I'd recommend going to, you know, Tootsie's, Kid Rock, any of those bars. I know me and Christian have personally been to Nashville, and it's a great place to just kind of meet people and be immersed in the culture. It's a very different culture there compared to really any other city I've been in. The downtown is lively, and that's why I love that we have a NASCAR race literally so close to Nashville. I mean, it's fantastic that these drivers like this place enough to make their own custom paint scheme. I think it's really special.
Oh, obviously, yeah. For me and you both, you know, Carter, you know, I know you got family that's pretty close to there. Obviously, we have some friends that live down there in Nashville that, you know, we've gotten to spend some time with. But, you know, I definitely agree. I haven't had the luxury of going to a lot of big cities, but, you know, the second I step foot in Nashville, there's just something different about it. And just the vibe. Obviously, you go down Broadway and there's all those bars and, you know, live music playing. And obviously, you know, the Country Hall of Fame down there. And this is such a different place, and you know, Nashville, known for its music, obviously known for racing as well, is actually, you know, the Nashville Fairgrounds was established well before, you know, country music was, you know, popularized there. But, you know, obviously a lot of people familiarize Nashville with country and just music in general. And it's just super cool to see drivers going out of their way to, you know, make these schemes about, you know, bands that they like or artists that they like. I know, you know, me personally, I do the same thing. You know, you know, music is a big part of my life, and I always love to put my, you know, taste of my little, you know, taste of what I want in a race car based off of, you know, some music that I listen to. But yeah, definitely cool to see, you know, the music theme night here from the AWC drivers. We practice wrapping up Gavin Austin, Michael Kruger, and Ty McIntosh, who popped through here for practice.
As we'll head into qualifying, we will see how these practice times stack up, see if there's any sandbagging, find out what speed these cars really have, and how good single lap pace will be, and then we'll be able to compare that to the long run.
We're gonna pick a driver here. We're gonna do our we like to do here when we have the ability to go side by side here, and we'll find the driver and we'll ride on board with him for his qualifying lap if we can find someone that we like here. You know what? Henry Kelhoff, he's had some good runs here in the AWC Pro Series. And in just in broadcasts the past here, once he gets up to speed, we'll actually go on board here and he'll take you around Nashville's Superspeedway here in this number 63 machine. See that Fort Worth screen printing machine. You know, obviously, really cool to see, you know, we've seen, you know, Fort Worth screen printing, you know, sponsor some market machines. And cool to see, you know, them backing Henry and Kelhoff Deitch family here, but ready to go on board here and take a look and see what he's doing here on track.
Bottom, we have Enrique Cucon, and we'll be able to see with this side-by-side what they kind of do differently compared to each other, see if they run similar lines. I would say, Christian, for you, is bottom usually the best for Nashville to run?
Yeah, I would say you want to run the bottom here all around. You know, you really need to be adaptive of that bump there out of 234. And that's really what's going to get you there. You need to limit you here for Henry down here on the left side of the screen. You see your on bomb on the bottom, now hop on the top, and now I think you go. Good lap for him. That's the 7. Lap time as he crosses the line. Nine will go. Not allowed. I think he might have hit the wall there, but Kalhoff will settle in the P4 right there. So a good lap for him, and see what else he can do here as we get ready to find some more drivers who are back on track here. Ty McIntosh out on track here. First time here in qualifying. See your fastest in practice right now. Cameron Rich right there with that 30.852. Yeah, actually, that's a really good lap for him in a 62. Just a couple hundredths behind. And Wyatt Roberts up to 3.
Yeah, very good stuff for these drivers. And so now we're able to actually see what pace they have. And yeah, man, the machine on the top of the screen earlier, hitting the wall, that's one of the most frustrating things that can happen in qualifying. You'll have the most impressive lap and you'll just tap it, you'll get that 0x and you'll feel that pit in your stomach, especially if you have a 1 lap qualifying. Is this 2 lap, Christian?
I think this is 2 lap. I go P7 here. Pretty decent lap for Ty here. Will be the start of his 2nd lap, so let's see if he can improve right now. Looks like he is about even here. Like, actually a little bit slower this lap here. About actually picking up here at a turn 2. There it goes. That outside wall. That's something you got to be careful of. He was trying to just get a little bit more out of it. He was a little bit in the red. Tried to, get a little bit more out of the car, and you saw him overcorrect up in the outside wall here. Here comes Jacob B. Davis in this number 5 machine. Start his qualifying run.
See what the Pepsi HVTV machine can do. The very subtle flames. I enjoy that. Reminds me of, if you've ever seen that later Jeff Gordon edition Monte Carlo SS has the very subtle flames similar to this Pepsi scheme right here. But Jacob B. Davis going to the bottom. We'll see how this lap will turn out for this machine.
Drive here to complete his first lap. I know lap time like a 31.3. 5 right now. Wants to get a little bit more pace out of this, I assume. Looks like Jacob just doesn't sound like he's pushing the car that hard, but obviously wants to set a qualifying time at the very least right now. He's not using all the track up. He's not really, getting up to the wall on exit here, but we'll see. It looks like he is not even going to be faster the 2nd lap, so some issues with the 5 machine. We'll stay back there out of P26. Michael Kruger, top of the board here.
Love to see that for Michael.
Yeah, Michael, needs to race his way in on points, and this is the best way to do it, right? Like I said in the pre-race, we know he has speed. We know he can run up front here in the Pro Series. To put the laps together, you need to make mistake-free. He was really quick at Chicago Street. A couple mistakes cost him, at least a couple spots. But you'll see that number 41, top of the board there. Cameron Rich will fall back to P2. Qualifying as we get ready to 125 laps here from Nashville Superspeedway. On some of these drivers to get to their virtual machines. Get ready to go green here. 125 laps once again. And just when guys get in their cars, remember, already, we can talk about this a little bit later, but there's so much that they can do here in the cars to, you know, get ready to go and adjust here. But we'll get your starting lineup here. Is quite a few drivers, 29 strong here from um, Nashville. We'll get ready to get your starting lineup here. Obviously, we saw Michael Kruger with that pole lap. He's going to be your pole setter alongside Cameron Rich. Zach Probst in the 62, really good qualifying effort for him alongside the 42, Fire Roberts in that K Love machine. Bill Farlow won here this year. Be back there in P5 alongside Darren Staff in that 45. He's trying to race his way into the chase. Henry Kalhoff in his couple of starts here in that number 63 machine. Right back there in P7 alongside Ty McIntosh. Gavin Austin in the 6 machine, P9 alongside Enrique Cucolone back there riding at your top 10.
Going outside the top 10, we have Bennett and Soto making up row 6, Scarborough and Fabian making row 7, Gomura and Salmon making up row 8, Strong and Nunez, row 9, and row 10, Lucas and Bird. Interesting note on Bird. It looks like it may also be the single car lap that has shown a little lack of speed.
Yeah, I mean, qualifying pace definitely looked a little concerning for that 53, but hopefully he can drive his way up through the field here. But rounding out the rest of the field tonight, Adam Town, the 34, alongside Mason Cochran in that number 92 machine. He's got the right number on that machine. Brendan Rain in the 57, Ryan Rombaum in that 7 machine, round out to the top 24. Sam Boutwell, Jacob B. Davis, Vic Bloom, Dean O'Neill in that number 91, and Christopher Logan. That's out your field tonight. Everybody's starting to get up to speed here and get ready to go here, but definitely going to be interesting here as we get ready to look at your race weather for tonight's race here from Nashville Superspeedway. And 73 degrees, 95-degree track there, so Carter.
Wow.
Very slick track there today. You see blue skies.
Yeah, it's even just looking at it through the sim, you can tell it's a pretty slick track day, especially with that concrete. But pace car lights are off. We're ready to go get it.
Pace car off this time. We'll be going 125 laps here. Start week 9 here from Nashville Superspeedway. Here for the AWC Pro Series as they continue their campaign here for week number 20 as we're green here from Nashville Superspeedway. Across the stripe through to complete the first lap. Kruger, 41. Benjamin Rich back there in that number 17 machine going to take that P2 position.
Got the 62 of Zach Probst following the train along the bottom. The first car on the outside being the 42 now going in line. We'll start to see these drivers possibly fall in line, but it's a good time early to try to use the top as there's less marbles up there.
Gotta get that track cleaned off here. Oh, the 62 around.
Ooh!
A big one here early. Henry Kalhoff involved. And already,
that's not what you want to see.
Yeah, no faster pace for these drivers, so this is exactly what you don't want to see. It looks like not a whole lot of damage at the 63. So we'll go back and take a look and see what happened to Zach Probst here. Okay, so we'll look at the HV play. Take a look and see what happened here. Do that number 60 Zach Probst. Already see down here early. Take a different look and see what happened here. Copper cam. I just thought maybe he was clear of that 42. Unfortunately, not the case. And someone I want to go look at is this number 45, Darren Staff. A huge hit. The outside wall for this 45. Nowhere to go for Darren. Oh man.
Oh.
He gets hit by the 10, 06. Oh, the 14 comes in there. Full sail as well. And that's the bad side of, you know, having the leaders wreck right right in front of the whole field, especially when everybody's compacted like that. A lot of the times there is frankly nowhere to go. You know, some people will be like, "Hey, hit the brakes." You know, sometimes there is no chance to hit the brakes when the leader wrecks in front of the whole field. You can't expect, you know, everybody to get around the wreck there. I mean, that's exactly what I think we saw right there. Go under caution here on lap 4.
Yeah, sometimes, especially at the beginning of the race, you just don't expect it. Nerves are high. You're focused on getting as many positions as you can, and honestly, sometimes it's very hard to see, especially with a pack of cars that smoke in front of you. All of a sudden, car pulls out, and there's this car stopped on the track in front of you, and it's just a very difficult situation to deal with. We saw some people think they got by, and then get tagged, and all of a sudden they're in it. So hopefully, I don't think there's any race-ending damage. It looks like definitely some hard hits, but hopefully, especially with it being early and what is a 125 lap race, these drivers will be able to get back out there.
Actually, I didn't really see. I mean, I agree with you there. I don't really a lot of race damage. I think the biggest hit was probably that 45 getting up in that outside wall, then getting hit in the back. You still see him down pit side here. Actually, he coming. Yeah, you still see Darren down pit road here, as well as Ty, and as they try to race their way off pit road to try to stay on the lead lap. Honestly, if I'm Darren, I don't mind him sitting down here and taking all the damage here. It looks like he'll be the only car lap down. He just needs one more caution to get himself back in it, but he needs to stay only one lap down. If he gets, you know, dunked by a couple cars, or if he goes more than one lap down, that definitely makes this pursuit back to the front going to be a lot more difficult for that 45 machine.
Yeah, for me, it's always best to try to get as much damage out of the way, you know, at first as possible. So it looks like that's what he seems to be doing, because it takes a long time, you know, to get back around and then enter pit lane again and then try, especially since they're going, they're on one to green right here. So I completely understand him, especially if it's heavy damage, wanting to get all that fixed.
Yeah, I mean, there's that, you know, that pondering thought of, right, that you try to just limp it around with damage and potentially put yourself in a worse situation, but you just take all the damage up front, go a couple laps down, and it looks like that's exactly what the 45 is going to do. Uphill battle now for that 45. Obviously, still trying to race his way back into pace contention here, but see that pace car take the hard left turn off pit road forward. Toyota front row. Michael Kruger leads us back to green to start lap 5. Saw that number 41. He actually went a little bit later in the box than I expected him to, but waited really late and went, you know, right in the back into that restart zone. Got a good jump though. You see almost a 2-3 car length advantage to that number 17 behind.
Looks like Gavin Austin going to the bottom in 3 and 4 here as he tries to make it. He's going to try to make it 2 for 2 if he gets up near the front. Side by side, Joel Farlow on the bottom. 95 thinking about taking it 3 wide if he gets the run.
Gavin Austin side by side with the 42 behind. So Farlow side by side with that number 22 of a Kukalone. And almost 3 wide. I think that number 53 of that's Bryson Bird, man, driving his way up through the field. Remember, we talked about not having the race pace, but back up here inside the top 9. I remember started back in P20 all the way back up inside the top 10 already.
Yeah, sometimes you get into that flow state, you're just able to make up positions. You have high momentum. If you have low momentum, it's very, very hard to make your way through the pack, but once you get rolling, sometimes you can't stop passing. As we see him going around, it should be the 35 here.
We'll start to see some of these drivers, if they can make it work, use that top side, kind of diamond the corner, get up there, get the run, get up there tall, up top like the 53 is, and he'll turn down the track here to get the run off and try to pinch that 95 down on exit. But just enough. Oh, you see the 32 in the wall there, but you're going to see this 53 try to make this pass work. It could be clear here going into 1 and 2. Not quiet. 95 still sticking his nose in there.
Yeah, 95 is pestering Bryson Bird, to say the least. He's been dropping back the past lap-ish. Looks like, as he goes to the bottom of the 22, almost.
You saw Bryson finally get clear of that 95, about to make a battle back there to P9. That's Soto, That's Preston Salmon back there trying to battle it out for P2 for that P10 position, but further up. Side-by-side action gonna ensue here as we saw now the 24 get around the 50. There's two 53s, I think, in the field here.
I believe so.
Yeah. Believe that's Fidel in the 53 machine. So that's why I was a little confused. We always associate 53 with Bryson Bird. That's Fidel Fabian.
It's iconic.
Yeah. Caution. Wrecking in the back. Big Scarborough.
Oh, man.
I carry scene number 77 machine. 92 back there. Mason Cochran trying to nip his way out of the grass here. Something happened back here in the back. We'll have to take a look.
That looks like some pretty heavy damage. Probably suspension, too. If not engine. Yep, as he tows to the pits.
Cam here. 77. The same thing we saw.
Wow.
For that first wreck. You just thought he was clear or not. Hooks himself off the nose of the 47 about well. You see the 92 of Cochran caught up in that as well. I think there's another car slightly involved here. See the 6 driving through that wreck there. But yeah, same thing, second burst. Just trying to get clear on exit there. Unfortunately, the car on that outside still had his nose in there. And that driver hooks himself up the track there. Luckily, that was further in the back, and a lot more cars were able to avoid the wreck this time.
Yeah, turn 4 is interesting. It definitely seems like the cars on the inside want to slide up. They don't want to. They don't want to let off the throttle, and it's partially the driver in front is like. He thinks the car behind him is gonna sort of let him go. He's to the bottom of the car. He's expecting him to the car behind him to let off a little bit, and he can just squeeze in front. And obviously, just seems like the cars on the outside both times have not been very forgiving, and they don't have to be if they don't want to. Quite frankly.
That's the best way to put that. It's every driver's right. Race is hard. As fast as if they want. I think both the 77 and the driver before, expected them to, cut a little slack here. We're not, 13 now, but that caution came out on lap, I think 11 or 12. I think some of the drivers just expected, hey, we're pretty early into the race. Let's, I'm a little bit quicker. Just let me go. You can get me back later. But obviously, it's really hard to pass here at Nashville. We talked about in the pre-race, it's going to be bottom dominant. We've seen, some people use the top a little bit, but that's, in my opinion, only because we will have relatively fresh Goodyear Eagles underneath tires. If we get a long run here, it's just going to be about, taking advantage of mistakes of the drivers in front.
Yes, one thing to note, 45 is grayed out on my timing monitor. It seems he may be at least out of the car. That's how bad the damage is. He is not on track.
Yeah, I see that as well. Him and the 14 of Aiden Lucas, remember, he got caught up in that first wreck as well, just, trying to get through the grass. And obviously, when you're in the grass, the car does not want to slow down. So I'm not saying that didn't have help there, but it looks like Henry Kalhoff, Aiden Lucas, and Darren Sapp at least have put those cars in the garage for now. But those drivers respectively 10 laps down, 7 laps down, and Henry just went 1 lap down here as he is put that car in the garage at least for now.
Yeah, that surprises me on these O'Reilly machines. You don't typically think of the damage we've been seeing today as race ending, but obviously it gets to the point where it may not be worth it, to run 125 laps for you if you're going to be so many laps down, you're just going to be in the way. So that may be what some of these drivers are deciding to do, opt out, let the competition's competitive race and take their DNF.
Well, I know this. Nashville's kind of a polarizing track. You either love the track or you hate it, right? I haven't seen someone be on the fence, right? It's like, no, I love Nashville. The racing's good, or I love racing it, or no, I cannot stand Nashville. I think, that also has to come into a factor. If you get wrecked out early, you don't like the track, most likely you're just going to put the car on the hauler and say, well, we tried, right? Go home. But we'll never know. I mean, it's up to the driver's discretion of what they want to do with their car. But back ready to go green. Oh, the 24. I thought maybe tried to jump the start there. He's
Yeah.
gonna completely check up the inside there. But Michael Kruger leads us back to green.
Almost looked like a little bit of tire swerving there to get him heated up right as we were going green. But Gavin Austin slips into second as the 42 is trying to get on the bottom of the 17. He'll have to go back in line for now. Bryson Bird on the inside.
Bryson will be that first car to be side by side here for a battle. That will be the battle for P5. It's going to be the 253 machines down the back here out of turn 4. Bryson on the bottom, Fidel on the top. They'll be side by side at the line. We'll give it to the top side there. Fidel's spot here, but have to let me tight there. He wants to hold on to the spot here on that top side.
Battle of the 53s. It's always a competition to see if you can stay in front of Bird. It proves something to the competition that you are good enough to hang with the best of the series. But we will see him slip behind Bird this time.
Yeah, I mean, this really shows right now. Sometimes qualifying doesn't matter, right? Bryson qualified P20. Obviously, I think he had a little bit of help with the cautions there. He got through the cautions, some didn't. But has been able to work himself up into the top 5 already. And we haven't even gotten to that 20 lap mark yet. Pretty races here at the start of this race.
Yes, we see Wyatt Roberts trying that high side line. Me personally, I think that would screw up your tires a little more than you'd want, but clean air is everything on a track like this. It's time to go.
And I don't really mind Wyatt doing this at the start. Oh, he's jabbing really loose there on the top
Ooh.
side there. And allowed the Hammer and Rich to potentially open the door there. But going back to the 42, Wyatt, I don't mind him trying this out. I mean, this is the first run of the race. This is where you learn, right? Where can you put that car, right? Obviously, if the tires burn off there, he'll know, okay, I can't do that. I got to stick to the bottom. But him trying out this lane, I don't honestly hate that. If he finds something different here, he can put that in his back pocket later in the race if he needs to use it, and then take advantage of it. When the other drivers don't want to use that top, he can use it if he can find something up there.
Oh man, that 17 of Cameron Rich being very racy with Gavin Austin, as the 42 of Wyatt Roberts is going really wide. He's going to be side by side with the other 53 going on the backstretch. Not sure what happened there, if he just got tight, if he was right behind that battle between Gavin and the 17.
I believe Cameron gave, I don't know if he got tight, but I believe there's a little bit of contact with the 17 and the 42 there. The 42 is really tight on that right rear quarter panel, and I think the 17 just came up enough to where it kind of upset the 42. Forced White to kind of back out of it, forced him up the track here, but he's still trying to hold on tight there in that top side there, side by side with Fidel and that 53 machine. I'll say this, that top side does get a little bit of a better run down the corner, because he'll clear the 53 Fidel.
Looks like possibly pinching the competition off the end of the corner may cause them to lift, cause them to have less momentum, as we see both the Fords using the outside lanes, it seems like, Enrique Cucalon, along with the 42 of Wyatt Roberts, trying to make that work.
Yeah, and if they can figure out how to make that top side work and make passes, this is exactly what you want to put the quarterback bucket. Like, if as the tires wear out, those drivers are going to want to continue to, use as much track as they can up on exit. You can put your car there on that outside, make it work there on the long run, and force them to basically lift. That's going to be huge, right? But also, we've seen it before. The first 2 wrecks we've had were from those same situations, right? So, it's a catch-22, right? If you can find something up there, it can be really beneficial, but it can also put you in a really bad spot if that driver just doesn't have the car to keep it down there often.
Single file through the field as we start to enter our long run. We'll see how long it lasts. We are currently on lap 22 of 125. Michael Kruger in the lead as he's looking into the chase, trying to make it in on points. In that wonderful dish number 41. Did you used to have dish, Christian? Was that your cable of choice?
Yeah, so, it's funny that, my parents back in the day, I'll say this, we weren't privileged enough, to, have the luxuries that some people did. What we would do is we would get the 1 year, the 2 year package deal where it was cheaper on dish, and then we'd switch to DirecTV, get the package deal, and then we'd switch back to dish. So it's kind of funny that in our living room we probably have 3 separate like probably 2 of each, like cable boxes, because after, the 2-year plan, we go back to the other one, they have like a new upgraded, cable box. So every time we switch back and forth, they give us a new cable box. It's not like, and they would never take it back. So still in our living room to this day, we probably have like 2 each, DirecTV and Dish Network cable boxes. But, I really, the Dish Network machine, it really does, bring back, that nostalgic stuff, because, obviously cable TV isn't really what it used to be, with a lot of stuff going to stream and all that stuff, cables, on monetized like it used to be.
Yeah, there's so many ways to spend your money these days. Cable is getting cut from homes nationwide, in replacement of streaming services. I personally use Sling TV to watch NASCAR races. But it looks like the 17 is right on the back bumper of the 6 car, Gavin Austin in the Rocket League car.
Gavin Austin with a tail full of that 17. So we got a Jaguar cars back here right outside the top 3. And it says 253 machines battling it out here for P4, P5. And then, the 24, that was super close. Onto the back end, a little bit of a blinking issue out of Cole right there, but he's gonna get side by side with the number 53. This is like really scary. You're racing around the 24 with how much the blinking is, how much I feel like here at Nashville, this is one of the tracks you have to do the most to go around everybody, to keep everybody safe.
Of course, and it begs the question whether he will possibly get a internet flag. And where that would put him in the race. I sure think he was blinking a lot there that at least popped up on his screen.
Looks like it's fixed itself for now, but obviously we do have a race control here with AWC Pro Series. That race control is something like, hey, if iRacing isn't a part of you, we're gonna ask you to drop to the back if it continues to get bad, right? And it sucks, right? Obviously, to what point you can't really control what your internet does, but that's just how stuff works sometimes, right? I've definitely been in situations in league races where I was leading the race and I started blinking and they told me to drop to the back. Now, I wasn't racing anybody. There's still that hazard of racing around someone who's blinking.
Yeah, it's obviously very dangerous. You can end up inside someone while they're blinking. So it's never something you want to see. It doesn't allow the people behind you to push their full limits, so whenever someone tells you you're blinking, always best to get out of the way. But it looks like we have the 62 of Zach Probst going by the 53 of Fabian.
A little bit of a side job out of the 62 there, going into 3 and 4, no, into 1 and 2. Made the pass in 3 and 4, down the back, but he put himself back up inside the P4. One spot down from where he qualified, but 62 showing a lot of speed here. This is where we're in that run. But I'll say this, look at the tires here. Everybody else, 30-lap tires have not come down pit road. Probst, remember, he was the caution. Came down, got the damage fixed. He's got almost 15-lap extra tires in the rest of the field. Starting to see that show here as he's starting to drive through the field.
Man, you're right, Christian. So he's coming all the way from the back to now P4. That's a very impressive-looking machine we have right there. Obviously, someone who's good on the long runs and is able to keep up with this tire drag. Right in front of him, Gavin Austin looks like he's moved down to P3 behind Cameron Rich. We saw that battle going on earlier. Not sure if we saw the pass, but he might be able to make some work of Gavin right here.
Yeah, and honestly, Zach needs us to go long here. If it goes long here, this is potentially like a really good thing for him. If he can go long and get around these drivers and take the race lead away from Michael Kruger and start to pull away, and make this kind of the first natural green flag run here. This is going to be huge for him. Obviously, he has one less set on the tires, but if he can get away here, I don't think that really matters as long as he can, conserve the tires so where he can get to the end.
Yeah, one thing I'm able to tell a little bit about his driving style is he is able to keep it on the bottom, and that allows the left side of the splitter to stay sucked to the ground. All the other cars in front of him are searching, or they're not able just to keep it on the bottom, but because he has that little gap, he's usually able to get under it.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be, put a lot of pressure back there on the 17. They battled out the P4, but Gavin Austin has started to drop back really quickly here as he's, dropped back into this gaggle cars. Here comes Fidel Fabian on the bottom, going to try to make a move on the 6. A little bit of contact between the two. The 22 maybe looking 3 wide here. Enrique Kugelon on the apron, going to make it 3 wide here in the turn 1.
It's going to have a very shallow entry. Makes me wonder if he's going to wash up a little bit. Oh man, 3 wide, Doran. 53 against the 6 of Gavin Austin. They're still 3 wide down the backstretch. Who's going to give?
Yeah, Enrique almost cleared there. Is Fidel, I think, being the most cautious there. I think he used up Gavin a little bit there, but he was really, I think, well, I wouldn't say intimidated by it. So Gavin Austin opened the crossover, but I think he wanted to make sure that 3 wide worked there. But Gavin, I don't think was super happy with the 53 using him up there. Get to cross him over here. Now Gavin will be on the inside here coming out of 1 and 2.
Yeah, Gavin had to make that move down the front stretch, or else the 42 of Roberts was going to get to his inside, and he still might. He's blocking down the backstretch. We'll see if the 42 sends him anything.
Yeah, and we know Gavin has always been super aggressive when it comes to that, putting himself. He is a driver-first driver, right? He will do what he needs to do for his race, right? He's kind of that Austin Hills kind of mentality, right? But he will put those bad blocks and those aggressive blocks to put the drivers behind them at the mercy, right? And it's definitely going to be interesting to see how these drivers drive Gavin now with these aggressive blocks. Remember, this is Gavin's 2nd race of the season. Not really racing for anything except wins here. Might start to see the patience run out. The aggressiveness starts to continue from Gavin, and it's his own prerogative. He can race however he wants, but obviously, being a part-time guy coming here and trophy hunting, with these drivers in some bad spots, it's definitely going to put a target on his back.
As we were talking about the 62's march up the field, he has made it to the P1 spot over Kruger. What a fast hot rod that is.
Oh, and it's time for him to go. Set sail, right? Everybody else has about 37 laps on these tires. And he set himself up to where he's on his own different fuel strategy, I feel like, because I'm not sure how much we can go on fuel. Someone in the chat, but maybe you can inform us or help us out with that. I'm not sure how long these guys can go, but everybody else, for the most part, 38 laps on this stint, have not come down pit road yet, dropping the green flag. So when does the 41, when does the 17 come back in? Obviously, I feel like the 62 needs to run his own race. Do not pit with everybody else. Have 10, 15 lap pressure tires. If you can get away and run your own.
Yeah, and will cause the cars behind him to basically short pit, which is going to be a very mix-up in strategy, because it could go either way here against Probes and the field strategy. If the field pits, pretty soon, they're going to have a lot fresher tires, and by the time Probes comes in, he's going to be running on old tires. All those lap times are going to be going down. Part of the field might have gone past him, track position-wise.
Yeah, and it's definitely going to be interesting. If I'm Probes, you have to keep your head down. It looks like he's been overdriving the corner a little bit, trying to get away. You have fresher tires. You have better pace right now just because of the tires here. You look back at the 41 back here. If I'm just 50, 62, just keep your head down, right? Run that bottom as you've been good at like you are right now. That was a really good corner here out of 34. Keep your head down, because if you just continue to hit your marks, you will start to pull away. But overdriving the entry, overdriving stuff, trying to get away, that's how you burn yourself up. That's how you allow someone like Michael Kruger, Damon Rich, Enrique Kugelon was slowly really back in by overdriving. Keep your head down, keeping that rhythm of getting down there, hitting your marks, and now we already start to see just under a second gap back to P2.
And you gotta wonder what the toll is on the tires. Will that start showing soon? He had to go from the back of the field to the front. Going through that many cars isn't that easy, as we have the 42 of Roberts on the outside of Farlow as the 2 Fords battle down the front stretch.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was talking about, with keeping your head down, making sure your stuff is, because he had to definitely step up a little bit more than the rest of the field here, driving his way through the field, making sure that he's making the passes. But the upside to that is he does have the fresher tires, so he could afford just to stuff up a little bit in the 24 blinking in front of the 42. I think the 42 is gave it to him right now. Too early in the race to put your car at risk there with a blink car.
Yeah, in my personal opinion, I don't like what I'm seeing out of the 24 right now. It's obviously making his fellow competitors uncomfortable. You can't really pass someone when you don't know where they are. Looks like he's a little more stable now, but I mean, man, it's been a long time since we've been back here, and we come back here and he's still blinking away.
Yeah, I mean, I guess on the bright side is he'll have like kind of a little spasm, I call it, and blink, 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 and he'll be good for 3, 4, 5 laps. So, I mean, if I'm Wyatt, I'm going to see that pattern and start to attack when I know that he's actually going to be better. Try to get around this 24 as quickly as you can, because it's getting to that point of the run now where the tires are all kind of falling off. It's hard, make up these passes here. Here comes Joel Farlow to the inside of Gavin Austin. He's continuing to drop through the field. There's another blink out here. The 24s, he was actually inside of the 42 right there.
That's what I was talking about earlier. You can almost get inside of cars, but man, Gavin shut that door, didn't he? And Joel is right back on his bumper. He's going to go to try the outside line, try to wrap it around. Gavin is still in front, possibly looking for a crossover move. He gets put in the dirty air, maybe a little bump to Gavin.
I mean, Gavin's doing what he needs to keep this P6 position, but being really aggressive about keeping it to 22. Whoa! Enrique Cuculon in the grass, back up the track. We're gonna have to take a look at that here. We'll do a little bit of a rewind here and look to see what happened.
Oh, is Gavin Austin spinning the 22 around and into the wall?
Caution will wave. I was trying to find the instant replay here. I got thrown on by what I saw. We'll have to go all the way back here to see why the 22 was all the way here in the grass. So this is him battling out here with the 17. Cameron Ridge, this was for the P position, I believe. Go on board with Cameron Ridge. 22 is completely leaked out here, I believe. Through this time. Oh, Enrique back here. I think this was after.
Oh, man.
There's so much happened right there. We'll have to go back. I think Gavin Austin got the bumper put to him by the 24, Joel Farlow as well.
Looks like Joel obviously...
No, that was Gavin. Joel was trying to look to the outside, and we're going to go off the bumper here, Gavin, to make sure that we're not going to call this wrong, because I know Gavin is going to be upset at me if I call this wrong. Yeah, Gavin's just trying to block there. Car was there. Great save out of the 6, but you see the 42 also upset there. This is a big accordion effect, I swear. And I mean, so much happened that for that little 30 seconds spurt of time there. But caution is out. Cars down pit road now. We'll try to figure out what happened here. And Probst, I feel like this is a good time for Probst to also come down here. I think he probably wanted this to stay green here, but he ran now, what is that, 35 laps on those tires, so that's a perfect time for him to come down and with the rest of the field in pit.
Yes, he is one tire set down, so we'll see if that factors into strategy later. Obviously, looks like he's getting on the same strategy as the rest of the field. If he thinks he can match the field on the same tires, good on him. But it was interesting with the 22, who knows how he even got in the grass, but I mean, to me it seems like the grass got on his tires, and then, going back to the front stretch, Gavin turns himself, and then, I feel like Enrique kind of like, he reacts, and the car with still has the grass on tires spins out on him.
I mean, we saw it, and I think the 42, and that was more of a reactionary thing of like, oh man, they're wrecking in front, slows it down, gets the car out. But I definitely do agree with you, Carter, there. the grass on the tires, there's just not as much grip, right? When you are down in the dirt, the tires are not made to have the free on them. Just having the dirt and stuff on the tires forced Enrique to react to the wreck, and then obviously not the grip he wanted in him after having the debris on him and around. But after that all said and done, back under pacing here, everybody too wide here, but the lights on the pace car, they're trying to get everybody back up to where they need to be. But it's going to be Zach Post, Michael Kruger, Cameron Rich, and Fidel Fabian on that top 4. And then Joel Farlow, Gavin Austin. Obviously, we saw the contact between those two back there in 5th and 6th.
Same contenders we've seen all day. 2 fastest cars of the day up front. It looks like the 11 of Taylor Strong has gotten their lap back under this caution period. Ready to see it. That other 53, he's been impressive. Fabian, he's currently beating out the other 53 of Bird. So
that's impressive for sure. How does Zach hold on here? I mean, he's got equal tires now. Obviously, he drove through the field with the freshies. Can he hang on here with everybody with the equal tires here?
Looks like caution being extended one more lap. Unknown circumstances. Joe Farlow still doing his little blink. As we see the 06 of Brett Bennett leaving the pit lane, still has some damage on that Mustang.
That's the lap
trying
down.
To beat the pace car out.
That's the lap down. Got caught up in that, first caution. And when you're in the back, there's nowhere to go. Brett did not have the best quality lap. Got caught up in it, and you see a lot of front damage onto that car, a little bit of right rear damage. Just trying to limp this thing around so he can, get into a spot to get this damage. No, Brett, pretty quick. I race with him on Tuesdays as well. I know he's got if he can get that car fixed, he can potentially battle for maybe a top 10. But finally, lights are off on the pace car. It'll be the 53 and the 41 now, as the 62.
He's gone.
Gone.
Wow. Leader of the race, fastest car. What has happened?
Looks like he might have blinked out or something. He's still off the track. So yeah, Fidel Fabian gets the race lead. Maybe it'll give it to Kruger. No, they gave it to Fidel. Fidel leads us back to green.
Unbelievable. Shades of the Indy NASCAR Cup Series race. Oh man.
What a set of circumstances coming across here. Start lap 51. I mean, the leader blinks out. It gives the third place driver the lead. He takes the lead. Michael Kruger back there for P2. Cameron Rich. And we have a lot of blinking all of a sudden.
Oh man.
In the 24, trying to just hold on here. I think they're telling the 24, you got to get out of the way. Inside the top 3, inside the top 4. That's no nightmare scenario. You'll see him blinking. I've seen the 41 blink a couple of times. I think the 62 blinked out of the race. I don't know if it's a server issue or
could
what,
be,
but definitely not what we want to see up here in the GTV booth.
Yeah, that was very close. We saw Gavin go inside Joel, literally 3 wide there. But we see for the lead, we got Fabian and Michael Kruger. Kruger right behind the 53, trying to find a way around. 17 behind him, and the 6 of Gavin Austin behind them, all in a line.
Look at that, Ryan Rombom in the 7. Where did he come from up here in the top 5 in that Deftones machine? Great run for him, up 19 spots from where he started. I don't know how he got this track position, but great job to get it right now. But we see now a battle for the P2 position. The 17, Cameron Rich, looking underneath the 41 here. Gavin Austin is trying to push him through, and that's just going to allow this leader Fidel to get away a little bit as they battle it out side by side. And Rich races past here on the 41. Here comes Gavin Austin to try to make that move for third.
Oh, as the 41 of Kruger is in the wall, he scrapes the wall in the dirty air of the 17. As Gavin is going to try to go under him for another position. off of turn 4. Gavin Austin side by side with the 41 dish car of Michael Kruger, who has been leading most of this race until the 62. And he's in the wall. He turns Gavin Austin into the wall!
Gavin Austin out of the race early. We're running on board with Gavin right there. Have to take a look and see what happened.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, that's definitely interesting here. Turns off the track there. That just looks like a misjudgment there.
He misjudged it, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that doesn't look intentional at all. I think thought he was clear, tried to get down underneath the 6, a crossover going into 3 and 1 and 2. Misjudged it. Gavin Austin hard hit it up into the outside wall. I think everybody does a good job keeping it off of him. The 22 once again off the bumper, someone sideways down there in 1 and 2, but that's a race ender. Gavin Austin will not be going 2 for 2 here, AWC Pro Series.
That is such a heartbreaker. Gavin coming back right after his spin that caused the last caution. He is now most likely out of the race. Yeah, as you said, will not be 2 for 2. And I feel bad for Michael. Obviously, he didn't mean to do that. Just a misjudgment going to the corner. He thought he was going to get the crossover, go under him, and it cost someone else their day.
It's going to cost him a good track position. He's going to get the year well because of that. So he's going to go tail end of the longest line here. So not only does he tear up a car, he's going to have to start tail end of the longest line. He's going to have to drive his way all the way back to the field. Someone who's points racing to get into the chase. This is not what you want to see.
That's massive. You could see the laps leading up to that. Michael was a little bit uncomfortable. Obviously got in the dirty air of the 17 off of 2 and was in the wall, and then was in the wall again off of, I can't remember if either 4 or going into 1. But now is the time to recoup yourself. Got to think about the chase. Got to think about the points. He knows he's got a fast car, and he's just got to try to fight his way back up.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a fast hot rod underneath him tonight. I think he'll start around the P15 area, so not the end of the world. Obviously, we've had 4, 6, 7, 8 cars that's gonna leave here early. Gavin Austin too, but that car's bumped. So only 21 cars still on the track. As of right now, looks like Sam Boutwell still on pit road. We'll see if he. Probably just trying to get some. Oh man, a lot of damage to the 47, but you see him out of pit road. So yeah, still 21 cars still left on track. But as the laps come tick down, that's just less drivers, more spots for these playoff guys.
Yeah, and with the amount of cars that have been going to the garage, that means Kruger doesn't have to drop as far back, which will make his climb through the field at least a little easier than the 62s if they have the same speed.
Yeah, but big talkable names that are out early already. Jake Scarborough, sitting back there, P6 in the points. Out early to get a 26th place finish here. Zach Probst linked out of the race. Back there in P3, 6 laps down, 8 laps down, my apologies now. Technically could come in and try to, just try to get some spots as people, leave. He could definitely get a spot on Gavin Austin if he decides to come back. Gavin obviously is not going to be able to run. As you heard that engine expires, he hit the outside wall. That guy here, Darren Staff, obviously needed a good race tonight to try to guide his way into the playoff spot. But to get last place points for the next race here in Nashville. But tough events here for a lot of these drivers. But see the pace car head back in. It's going to be a Toyota front row, as you'll see Rich Fabian back into the restart zone. Green, Nashville.
Saw the 17 swerve there. Possibly trying to get a side draft off the 53 or get a little bit closer, but the 53 is clear. As the 7 of Ryan Rawam goes to the bottom. Can he get second position here in the Deftones car?
Tom got a little loose there on entry, not going to be able to make the spot work. Now he's got the 42 into that his outside. Wyatt Roberts And they make that third spot up there, and that 42 machine trying to make this top side work.
2 by 2, Bryson Bird below the blinking Joel Farlow in the second row. Ford versus Ford, and another Ford versus Ford row.
Definitely trying to get around the 7, not to be able to happen on the top side. Still gonna maybe stay side by side here out of turn 2 as they will. The 42 gets a good run off the top. Bryson Bird further back. They're trying to navigate this blinking 24 machine. Joel Farlow.
You could obviously see him being timid off of turn 2, as I believe Race Control has told Joel Farlow that he has to let the cars go. He is blinking too much to be in the competition.
Tough situation. Like, if you're in the 24, right? Nothing you can do, right? You're just trying to run your race, and fortunately your internet blinking in and out. We still continue to see him blinking in and out there. It just sucks. Nothing you can really do except just let these spots, let these guys go, right? And it's the worst feeling you have. You'll see him. I think he let some guys go, but probably going to get told again. It's gotten worse, right? You have to let this 40 go. You're going to have to let the 34 and the 22 of them go.
17 goes around the outside of Fabian to take the lead. He's got a fast race car.
We know Cameron Rich, anytime he comes to the track, he's going to be probably a top 4, top 5 driver. He's already shown it now. Has some of the big drivers now who were up in the front, not here anymore. Gavin Austin gone. The 62 approach gone, right? And it's really, handed the race over to the 17 and Cameron Rich. He finally was able to navigate non-Fidel Fabian in that bright white machine.
And it's always difficult for me early in the runs to try to get past the leader. Usually see them staying single filed, so very impressive that the 17 of Rich can get past that strong 53 car. Speaking of 53 cars, Bryson Bird, is this the first time we've seen him in the top 5 this race? Possibly. Right behind the 42 of Roberts. So we'll see during this long run if we saw last long run for sure. He was able to make up a bunch of spots, but now he's up here with one of the big boys. So as a big boy himself, we'll see if he can get even further.
Well, and the good thing for Bryson now is he's got the track position. He doesn't have to drive his way through the field like he has at last time. He kind of worry about his pace instead of having to worry about passing his for the contact out here. 23 put the bumper to the 57, I think. Take over that 56 position. There's a big guy with cars back here outside this top 5.
Joel Farlow, who had to let some of the leaders by while he was blinking, is behind the battle with the 95 and the 57, and it looks like he wants to take it 3 wide. He's just going to follow the 57 through, now past the 95.
Try to use this top side to get around the 95 though, but we've seen some success now as the laps have gone down here. Gonna have a good run down here down the front stretch. Still be side by side. No, he loses at 95, but goes back up inside the top 8.
57, haven't talked about him much. Brendan Reed is on the bumper of Gamera, as he has the warning, one of those banned paint schemes we talked about earlier in the race, or in practice, really.
With the same, front bumper is the kerosene group as well on the front bumper, same as Jake Scarborough. But yeah, I'm gonna give it a shout out to Gamera though. Wiley is way up inside the top 6 there. 9 spots up from where he started. Definitely not the biggest move of the race, but Wiley stuck his way back up inside this top 6, top 7 spot. And this is where Gilberto has always been the best. Just being sneaky, quietly working his way up to the field here, not causing a lot of issues, putting himself in a good spot to get a good finish here tonight. Trying to drive his way through the field once again. Got that EOL for contact with him in the 6 of Gavin Austin. Looked at the top side of the 40 of Nunez. And, Kruger's probably, driving, I wouldn't say angry, but upset, right? He's probably upset at himself for putting himself in this spot. Obviously, Gavin Austin did nothing wrong there. And then that contact he made, but probably just upset with himself. He put himself in the spot to have to drive through the field here. He was probably going to come out on that restart, but...
Oh, man.
second,
Enrique
second and third.
Cucalon on the bottom,
Yeah,
3 wide.
Enrique back there trying to make some moves here. I think Enrique's got a good car. I just think, once again, like you talked about it earlier in the show, hard to pass. Really, it is. It's hard to pass. And we've only seen, surprisingly, the passes we've seen is really here in the 3 and 4 on the bottom, or really on the top side, we've seen some success making some passes.
Yeah, I would say this race has surprised me on how much that not top groove, but middle to top groove is able to work. I thought this was going to be, it is a bottom dominant track for the main racing line, but you are able to make the top work, and if you use the top for a few laps, get some momentum up, a few laps shouldn't hurt the tires too bad, and you're able to get around some people, and it ends up working pretty well. So impressive track conditions and the racing that these guys are able to display.
Talk about track here. Take a look here. 98 degrees track here, so if it's got even a little bit hotter, drop the green flag. Obviously, not surprised to see that. Probably just something another rubber get laid down on the track. It's going to just naturally heat up the track here, but still a very, very slick racetrack here tonight here in Nashville.
See the top 3. They're still very much in touch. The 53 right in the draft of the 17 of Cameron Rich, looking for a run going into 1. This is the time. Try to get a little bit below them. Try to get a little bit of that air. Don't get in the dirty air. Just do them stay in line.
Yeah, obviously, I don't think the dirty air is much of an effect. It definitely is dirty air now with these arriving machines, but I feel like if you're Fidel, if you're the 42 of Roberts, it's mostly about hitting your marks, right? Don't try to get aggressive to get around the 17. Go get a 43 to get around the 53. Let the 17 get away, right? 17 is doing a decent job hitting his marks, but obviously we're starting to see these guys start to catch back up to the race leader, starting to reel them in. So if I'm behind, I'm just focused about my own pace, right? You guys have naturally caught back up to the 17, which tells me that they have a little bit better cars, right? You need to get back to the 17 to make that move.
Yeah, and obviously you can already tell the vibe of this run. It's going to be a long run, so to your point, Christian, running your own pace, making sure you are not burning up your stuff, keeping in contact, but not using up the tires so much, possibly trying to get past them, and it seems like these top 3 are in a happy little group.
I mean, these two have a little over a 2-second gap. I would say a second and a half. Back to the 53 now. Give it to the 7. And Ryan Ronbaum trying to make the move here for this P4 position. And man, what a run for the 17. Man, has been shown, I would say, flashy pace throughout the whole season. But oh man, the 7 up into the outside wall. Bryson Bird saves it. Ronbaum saves it. But man, costly mistake out of the 7 there. And it's the same thing we've seen all race. Every car has gotten hooked up into that outside wall for every caution we've had tonight.
It's been a race of almost self-clearance, thinking you have a little bit more than you actually do. Obviously on these long runs, starting to get impatient. That's where you see these cracks start to form.
Saw it live here, but we'll go back and take another look at what happened. Right up here. Thought it was clear, but not. Bryson Bird, though, what a save by him to keep that car going forward. We'll go back and take a look here. Look at the save this 53 does to keep his car out of harm's way, but you just see it. Not clear, not clear, not clear. Bryson Bird spins it down here, back down here onto the pit entrance, the pit exit lane. Keeps it going there. Probably only loses, what, 1-2 spots here. Caution will wave once again.
What an avoidance by the 23 of Gomera. I would have thought with that much steering angle on the car, you would have hooked it right into the wall, but I mean, man, he was able to just get out of the way of Bird. I mean, Bird was so close to hitting Farlow in the 23. It's really a wonder how that wasn't a bigger wreck.
Oh, I'm surprised as well that somehow the 7, got it pointed off the wall, kept it going, and then that the 53 was able to save it down there on the apron. But once again, we ran, 28 laps on these tires. Definitely time to come down and take another set here. We just approached just right about, you know, the halfway point in this race.
Making sure this is where a lot of times practice comes in, seeing if you have practiced your stops. Each track has a different length of box and different asphalt, obviously, so it's going to be a different feel for being able to stop.
Yeah, and you have to think about it. This is the only part of the track that's asphalt, is pit road. And then, once again, those pit boxes are concrete. So it definitely makes the pit a little bit more difficult to get in and out of, because coming from asphalt down to concrete, down for those pit boxes, and definitely easy to make a mistake there. But Cameron Rich didn't make a mistake. He still keeps the race lead. Wyatt Roberts back up there in the P2. And once again, we'll see Ryan Rombaum. He did a fantastic job driving his way up to the field here, up inside the top 4. Fortunately, not only is he going to get the EOL, causing that wreck, he's got a lot of damage on that.
Got Blinky Joel Farlow in third for this restart, and then Fabian. Looks like he lost a spot or two. He's gonna be starting outside row, second row deep.
Not the best stop for Fabian there. I think it was just time in the box there. I think he was maybe a little bit more passive getting in and out of the box, because he had about the same lap pit stop time. You know, let's see, a 41.3, but combined time he was almost second and a half lower here. Actually, see the 53.
Oh man!
Penalty here for the 53 speeding. He's gonna have to go tail end the line.
What a race this is, folks. We've seen basically every leader, every dominant car that we've had, maybe besides the 17, has had to go to the back of the field, try to race their way back up. It's definitely not been a one-car race, that's for sure.
Tough break for the Fidel and that whole 53 team has been up here inside really the top 5 all race, but you're gonna have to do the same thing that this 41 has tried to do. Michael Kruger up into the P6 spot after having to drive his way through. Obviously, a great pit stop helped that out, but a really good recovery run for this 41. He lights up on the pace car, which means we'll go one more time around till we get the green flag once again to start lap 80. Once again, AWC, has done this, and they made it a pretty distinct rule that we will delay the caution if there's any kind of disagreement or confusion of where someone needs to line up here. So they went ahead and did that once again here, and I think that was mostly just because they had the EOL Fidel, they had the EOL Adam Tao, who also had a pit road penalty. So making sure everybody's lined up where they need to be.
Christian, I'm still thinking about that 62 of Zach Probst. I mean, do we think that was blinking? I didn't see him blink the whole race unless all of his internet just came down at once.
Yeah, I'm looking at the chat. Okay, so I'm getting told in the chat that so there is a rule here, and this was actually a controversial rule that happened at Chicago Street. They're allowed 4 boxes total, so including their own, and it looks like I was told that the 62 drove through too many boxes, got the penalty, and left. So it wasn't a blinking issue. He just probably frustrated the fact that that there's a pit box penalty or something to that effect, and tried to call the national, which sucks because he is someone who needed a good finish tonight to get himself into the chase here. But you'll see once again Cameron Rich, Wyatt Roberts back into the restart zone here to start lap 80 as we're back green here from Nashville.
17 of Cameron Rich getting the jump into turn 1. Bryson Bird's going to slot into that 3rd position, going to the bottom of the 42. Will the 42 be able to clear him as we have a scuffle behind?
A scuffle behind 40. Joshua Nunez. Joshua will wave once again. Oh, I hear a car coming in. There we go. 49. See if we get around there, Vic. I haven't talked about him all race, but we'll take a look and see what happened back here to the 40 of hands here. They got to look at it from the restart here because this happened pretty early here, going into turn 1 and 2. Wow.
Oh, bumper hook.
47 just runs him over. I want to go back and take a look at that real quick because that didn't look right, if you know what I mean. So, gets to the back end of the 57 and kind of kicks his car out here. That is super strange.
Didn't affect the 57 at all.
Yeah, that looks like maybe like net Cody something, right? If you ask me, and which sucks because that really tore up the 40, and nothing of his doing. That's unfortunate, and it's unfortunate because it also brings out another caution. So see the 40, drive this car down pit road. Not really a whole lot of front end damage, but obviously a little bit of right rear damage. Just a lot of rear damage in general to this 40 machine. Obviously not the race he wanted, but obviously this definitely doesn't help the situation at all.
Yeah, we're always going to see unfortunate situations like that in the sim, even when NASCAR over COVID went to iRacing for fan entertainment. We saw all sorts of weird, glitchy things, and that's just a part of sim racing. You got to kind of almost treat them like mechanical failures because you can't have those in the sim. Might as well treat the bugs like that too.
I guess that's a good way to put it, right? I mean, only kind of mechanical failure you can have in the sim is if it's like a wheel disconnect or a pedal disconnect or something like that, right? But outside of that, yeah, I guess you could call it, those sim misfortunes, mechanical failure in a way of sim racing as well. But back up here. While we get the opportunity, we'll see if they go green here. If we go one to green here. If not, we will take a step away here and then take a quick commercial break. Lights on the pace car go off. If they do, we'll keep it right back here live as they do. And the lights will go off this time. I want to make sure we keep the racing action live here for your fans at home. But once again, I'll see the 06. Slowly getting this car fixed. I mean, you gotta give him the tip of the hat here. Just really trying to stick it out here. Remember, the 06 can't make every race, so needs to get the best finish he can right now. Last car on the lead lap, P20. 22 points, so got to give it to Brett. To continue to try to ride this out. Still a lot of damage to this 6 machine, but trying to limp it around. Try to get the best finish he can.
Yeah, huge respect for him. I mean, that must have been so many minutes of damage, and from how early he got that, it must have been very daunting to look at, considering how long it's taken. So glad he stayed in it. Obviously, a lot more cars in DNF, so it's worth it for the points gain. Obviously, looking to the points. So unlike the 62, staying in it is certainly a way to get more points.
Exactly, that's exactly what you want to see if you're that 06 machine is these cautions. You saw the 24, well there with the blinking issue, but once again, it'll be the 17 and the 42. Rich Roberts, restart zone, green, here from Nashville. And a really good jump by the 17, but look at that. Roberts fighting so tough on the top side around Bryson Bird. Going to try to keep that spot there, but I think Bird is not going to be able to clear. They'll be side by side going into 3 and 4.
Bird had the momentum off of 2, but the 42 is going to shove in there and try to get to stick around the outside. He might get it. They're still side by side going down the front stretch.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to use that top side to track the distance and make it fast, this is the perfect time to do it with these fresh Goodyear tires, and he's going to do it. He keeps that P2 spot for now. Bryson Bird back to P2, back to P3. Look at that. Michael Kruger back up here inside the top 4.
Man, love to see it after that setback. Now that he's up here, we can finally see what this late race car can do. Different people's strengths coming in at different parts of the race. We'll see if his strength is right now.
I mean, he was the class of the field that first quarter of the race, and remember when he made that contact with Gavin, no damage to the 41, all the damage to the 6. Remember, the only penalty he really had was that EOL had to drive to the field. Now he's back up here inside the top 4. And, I mean, he still looks like he's got a pretty racy car. And further back on. Soto in the 95 looking outside of the 23 of Gamera. Gamera going to try to hold tough there on that bottom side, but the 95 with the huge run off the top there. Going to still keep it side by side down here, down the front stretch.
looking racy and fast. The 22 possibly thinking of a move between them. He's going to stick to the bottom. The 23 Gamera versus the 95. The 95 will prevail around the outside and down the backstretch.
Javier with a really good run there. And dropping his way up inside the top 5. Really good run for the 95 team. Has not had, I think, the pace and the success we expected to see out of the 95 this season. But still going to have to try to hold off the 23. The 23 is not letting him go there. Now, 22. Okay, Kukulon trying to make a move here. Tries to tuck back in line, think better of it for now.
Is that the 53 of Fabian back in the top 10 after a penalty? He's made up some positions, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's done a good job driving his way back up inside the top 10. But it has this gaggle of cars in front of him. I mean, those two cars running side by side. And I wouldn't say slowing these guys up, but there's nowhere to go, right? The only place you can go is maybe the apron, maybe 3 wide. We saw the 23 before. I see it do it again here, but that 53, really nowhere to go right now. And have to just wait on these guys to figure out what they want to do and then maybe try to make it faster. All over the back bumper of the 22.
You could see the 53 sending into turn 1. He's obviously maybe even possibly hard on the brakes. He wants to get past these cars as quickly as possible because he knows the laps are winding down. He wants to get in that lead pack. He's going to try to get on the inside of the 22 here.
Ryan on board with the 53 machine. Cadell, place 29 on the ticker, 53 on track. We're going to call him the 53. I mean, he just seems to have a little bit of a better rotation on the center out here. You see, let's get back up to the back end here. Now we're going to look to the outside of the 22 here going into 3 and 4.
He's obviously faster than these guys. He's just got to figure out a way to get by them. He can catch someone, but it's harder to pass them.
Side by side of the 22. Kukulon out of 3, out of 4, going to clear. I just got to get it, navigate around the 23, navigate around that 95. He's going to try to drive it down here on the bottom here underneath the 23. 23 with a block.
And these guys don't want to give up these positions. It's past that point in the race where you can let someone by. I mean, we've only got 34 laps to go. It's pretty much go time. So Gamera and the 95 in front of him, just because the 53 is a faster car, does not mean that he just automatically gets let through here.
And the issue is like when you get past, it opens the door for other people to put their nose in there, like the 22 is right now with the 23, right? The 23 kind of was forced to give up that spot, and now here comes the 22. Maybe take another spot away, right? And it compounds when you get put in that spot of having to give up a spot. Javier Soto, though, now with the rear full of this 53. So he's trying to figure out another way to get around this 95, and I think the 53 does have a little bit of a better car right now.
Oh, for sure. I mean, this 22, 23, and the 95 are all equally paced. The 53 is able to drive up as now he's going on the outside of the 95 going into turn 1.
Side by side through 1 and 2, the 95 and the 53. 53 should have a little bit better run off corner exit. 53 will clear. Put him into the top 5.
So now it's time for the 53 to set his sights on the pack in front, which is always the most challenging part. Once you get past the pack and you look in front of you and you're like, how am I going to get there without the draft? But we do have around 30 laps left, so we'll see if he can make it up there.
Well, not only that, he definitely have to use his tires up a little bit more, getting around these guys, get up there inside the top 5. You have anything left in the tank now, right? That you had to, get around the 23, the 22, the 95, right? Do you have anything left in the tank to go up and try to drive up to get those 4 leaders up in front of you?
Definitely something we're going to have to keep our eye on. It's 22 go past the 95, and we head back up front. Just a little recap, Cameron Rich in first, and he has been in a while in that beautiful number 17. Wyatt Roberts in the 42 in second. Bryson Bird in the 53, and from the back, the 41 of Michael Kruger in fourth, all in the 4-car pack. Looks like they're just all managing their stuff right here.
Trying to, maintain their pace, try to keep the tires underneath them. It's not, 30 to go here as we cross the line, but still not time to push, not time to do anything. We still probably have to potentially pit one more time, because, I don't know if we can go 50 laps here, and if they are, this is why they are kind of setting in mind to kind of manage their pace. If we have to if they have to stretch this all the way out to 50 laps.
Yeah, one thing to think about, green flag stops. That is usually when I race, I always forget that that's a possibility. I forget to try to make it onto pit road. It can form situations similar to what happened at Byron in the Cup Series at Las Vegas, where maybe even you over slow in the line and you get ran over. So it'll be interesting to see if we get to that point. But right now, oh man, the 34 and the 5 side by side, doing it back here.
Contact back here outside the top 10. This is for P11. Jacob B. Davis. No, this is actually for P10. Jacob B. Davis trying to hold on, trying to get this top 10 finish, but here comes the 34. Adam Tal underneath the number 5 machine. You know, that 92 to 70. That's for Logan back there, ready to pounce. If these two continue the fight here, they're still side by side going in the 1 and 2, the P10 position.
These guys do not want to give up an inch. Tal and Davis, they've already banged doors. Oh, as they bang doors again, coming out of 2, it's gonna be tires as it goes 3 wide, the 92 to the bottom.
92 of Cochran said, hey, if you guys are gonna mess around, I'm gonna take the spot here. You saw him back. You see him back out. I don't think he really wanted to go 3 wide there. But the door was open. Yeah, the door was open. He decided to close it for himself because he does not want to put himself in a bad spot there. Obviously, I believe this is his 2nd race here as well. Like Gavin Austin trying to be cordial around some of these guys. Obviously, Adam Tal, and I believe also Jacob B. Davis trying to race into the playoffs, into the chase. My apologies. This is in 92. Just trying to get some laps under as well. Try to get a name for himself here in the AWC Pro Series.
You can tell this 5 and 34 is starting to hold up the pack behind them, as they're not willing to give up a top 10 very easily. And it wouldn't be surprising to me if we have a few of these similar moments coming up shortly. Tempers are starting to run. They're starting to run wild as you get into the run. Tires are old. You're kind of tired of managing your stuff, and then you've got someone trying to pass you, and you don't want to give up the positions.
Exactly. I mean, we're counting down laps here now. 25 to go when we cross the line. It's getting to the time to where you cannot afford to give up spots here, right? Because there's not a lot of time to get them back. So I don't blame the 5 for being aggressive here. I mean, I don't blame like Javier. He's getting ran down by the 57. If he tries to be aggressive here. And the 57 has really done a good job driving back through the field here. Got caught up in a couple of incidents, but going to try to pounce down here on this 95 machine. Soto.
I could see earlier the 57 as Soto goes a little bit wide. He's gonna, the 57's gonna be able to get a run and see if he makes anything up into 1. But as I was mentioning before, the 57 I saw it's definitely pushing it earlier in the run, clipping the wall a few times on my screen. We'll see if that correlates with his tire wear or not. But obviously, looking a little better than Soto right now.
Soto just use up the front tires a little bit too much here. He's driving in a little bit deeper than the 57, but you see them. He pays for it all through exit here. That's where you see this number 57 gain back up to the 95 here. And but once again, without the tire wear, it's going to be super difficult for this 57 to make the pass here. You see him go up wide here. Are we going to do this hard corner here? Try to drive it down off the corner. 95. Keeps it off the wall there. So yeah, actually loses a bit of time there trying to experiment and try to get around this car in front.
You really have to start experimenting once you get on this old of tires, especially if you haven't practiced on this old of tires. So many different lines and different ways to drive it. You can take little advantages of it. As we have a battle for the, what is that, the 3rd and 4th position? The
battle for P2. Bryson Bird gets around the 42. Here comes the 41, and I think maybe Bryce said, okay, I got to go. Look at Bryce. I mean, look at Damon Rich. He's got a 1.5 seconds. He just started to slowly slake away. I think Bryce said, okay, I got to go. Like, I understand that him and the 42 are pretty close, and they race with each other. But there's a certain point in time where you got to go, right? You want to go run down and race for this win. You sometimes got to get around that teammate to go race for the win. Maybe White just does not have the long run pace, and it's starting to slow these guys up. You see Mikey Kruger trying to make a move there. Actually, loses a little bit of time. Here comes Enrique Kukulon into this battle.
Haven't seen Enrique in a while. You can tell how good these guys are. Look at Enrique trying to use the top, like just like he did all the way back at the beginning of the race. And he's actually able to get to the back of the 41, almost in the wall. He's going to try to go outside of the 41.
Get that 20 lap to go mark. Time to go, right? I mean, this is where if you got anything left, you use it now. And starting to see Enrique. He's going to look bottom now here on the 41 here, going down the backstretch. Going to be side by side down in the 3 and 4. And a huge send by the 22. He's going to do a little bit of a slide drop to get that P4 position over the 41.
And that'll work when you're side by side with someone down the backstretch. But we haven't seen Enrique really up in this far into the top 5 all race. So it'll be interesting to see what he makes of the 42 and the 53. See if he pushes them to even maybe catch up to the 17. But yeah,
see the stats here for the 22. I started 10th, highest of 4th, which is right now, but lowest of 19th. Not the race, the start of the race he wants, but letting him drive up through the field here. We'll take a look at your lap for lap here for this 24, I believe. Look at this. I mean, just right there. So much quicker right now than these drivers in front. Did a little bit of better job saving tires. We're going to be tight here in the 3 and 4.
Wow, Enrique really on the brakes here, and he's able to make it stick, too. Not even trying to side draft the 42 down the backstretch quite yet.
I think you can just drive it in a little bit more shallow, out the bottom. That's what's going to give him that lap time here. He's going to have to hurry to get around this 42, because them balanced side by side, just losing time here as we approach 17 to go here from Nashville.
Makes you wonder if he can get up to even P2 with Bryson Bird. I mean, even side by side, they're matching pace pretty well. But yeah, obviously with 17 to go, he's got to make quick work of this 42, and he does clear him off of 2 with his sight set on 53 of Bryson Bird, and beyond that, Rich.
And we're looking at lap times here. We'll go back and look. Enrique last lap, 32.39, battling. Cameron Rich, 32.304 in clean air. So.
Oof.
I think honestly, if Enrique hurries to get around the 53, he's going to do another slider in here to get around him. I think maybe Bryson might have just let him go here, as these guys are all teammates working with each other. He's got 16 laps, two-second gap to get back to that race leader.
The question is, how much did Cameron Rich save? If you have a 1.9 second gap, you are most likely inclined to save a ton, because you never know when a late race caution is going to come out, and who knows, staying out might be the strategy. So it all comes down to, was he saving before this? If he is, he should probably start pushing now that the faster car of Enrique is going to be the one tracking him down.
I mean, it's that catch-22. Was he saving, or did he get that 2-second gap from pushing, right? Yeah, we don't know until we get to talk to him, hopefully after the race here. But that gap is maintained. Oh, Bryson Bird in the outside wall. But that gap is kind of maintained right there, around now, 1.8, 1.7 gap here back to Enrique.
Surprises me to see Bryson Bird hitting the wall, pushing it as hard as he is with such a points gap.
I mean, I'm not going to blame the driver for pushing the car as hard as he can. I mean, he's got a pretty decent points gap. The issue is that Enrique, he's gonna finish in front of him, so it's gonna maybe cut down the point gap a little bit here, but only 2 spots ahead. But that's what, maybe 2-3 points cut out. I think he came in here plus 33 to Enrique back there to P2, but Enrique doing a little bit better job running down the race leader. He's got it down into the 6s now.
Yeah, and I mean, Christian, both me and you are drivers. Sometimes we're not even thinking, I mean, as being in the commentator's shoes, of course you're going to start to think about points, but when I'm racing, usually all of that is out the window for me, and I'm just thinking about getting the best position I can, even if that means putting my car at risk, like you saw Bird accidentally do there.
Yeah, and I agree. Unless you know going into the race that you need to do something specific to get into the points gap rise, points aren't even in the question, especially here, right? Especially for these two, right? Bryson leading the points really doesn't need to worry about anything. But speaking of that, Fidel Fabian, might outclass this 53 and prove a point here. He's going to get around Bryson here for that P5 for P4 position.
You can definitely tell Bryson is getting very tight, especially with the wall contact earlier. Makes you wonder, with something that hard, does he have damage? It's something to look into, because every little arrow, you know, difference can really affect how the car drives.
I mean, the bleeding has started for this 53. He just lost a spot to the 29. He's got the 41 of Kruger, who I thought would have done a little bit of a better job driving through the field, but still back there in P6. Going to be a good point stay for him. That's definitely gonna help get him up through the cushion here. But yeah, I mean, he's right all over the 53. I'm looking back here, the 22. He's got it down to 1.1 now. Lap traffic.
Oh man.
Starting to, you know, create a little bit of a buffer.
Man, that's not much of a gap. I mean, that gap has shrunk by 8/10. That is then now.
Yeah.
And we still have 10 to go. I mean, all he needs to do is get like a 10th faster every lap, and depending on how traffic plays out, especially really in iRacing, you usually don't get to see traffic play out as much as it does. But that's such a fun and wonderful thing that we're able to experience right now.
Obviously, the 47. I'm the 22. I'm telling this 47. You gotta get out of the way. We're racing for the win here, but I don't know if he's got enough time. I think he's got the better car. I don't know if Enrique has enough time to get to him, because now we're under 8 to go. He's going to be about, every time he doesn't gain time, he has to gain time throughout the race faster. So now we're down to 8 to go. He needs to make up about a 10th and a half now every lap to get back to there. He's doing a good job. He's got the clean-ish air, but once again, unless he can make up time here on entry, he's still going to be hovering around, you know, this 8, 9, 10th gap here with 7 to go.
Well, this is probably the longest run we have had of the day. Most likely they will not need to pit again, considering that many people would have hit at most likely the halfway point or the 2/3 point of the stage. So it looks like, based on the last caution, that they're pretty set for the rest of the race.
And the lap time's about a 10th quicker for the 22, and he makes up all that time in the 3 and 4. He cuts it down to about that 10th. All comes really from that 3 and 4. So you see him, he'll actually go a little bit wider, get a better arc, and get just a better run down the straight here. As you see him slowly catching him down, he's going to be within about 6.5 here with 7 to go. With 6 to go, my apologies. He is caught back up to where he is in striking distance here for this win.
And now the draft comes into play down the backstretch. Christian, would you rather have the draft compared to the dirty air? Would you rather be right in the footsteps of the other car, or would you rather have clean air yourself?
I'd rather put myself in the clean air, and you see Enrique doing that same thing. I think that's why he's driving it a little bit differently. He's using up that second lane to get that clean air, and he's starting to run down the race leader here. He's going to kind of stabilize right here around this half-second mark, and now this is where we have to see, does Enrique have the car to break through this dirty air to get to the back end of the 17? But does Cameron Rich hold on here to get his second win of the season, I believe?
As you said, Kukulon is pushing it for all of he's got. He's using lanes that haven't been used before. In this situation, I mean, he's hogging this guy down now to 3/10. I mean, this is setting up to be a possibly great finish if he can get there.
Now 4 to go, 3/10 back. I mean, this 22 is by far the quickest driver right now out of these front two. And you see him, he's just using that different lane. He's going to get a really good run out of the backstretch here. On top of that, he has a draft down the backstretch. He's going to get it underneath 2/10 here going into 3 and 4.
It's always important when you're in situations like this. Push it, but don't over push it. One wrong move and the 22 is out of contention. All the time lost. But now he is sniffing the butt of Rich.
Rich trying to hold on for everything he can, and he's going to use this bottom. I guarantee you he's just going to try to wrap this bottom line. But this 22, I just think just has a little bit more pace as we get ready to go down the backstretch. 3 to go here from Nashville. 2:10 separate your two race leaders.
And we are on the edge of our seats as we saw Kukulon still experimenting with the lines, using the bottom down and 1 and 2, using the top down 3 and 4, down back to the bottom. He is hogging on Kukulon, or on Rich.
Yeah, he just has such a good 3 and 4 that's where he's making up this time. We get 2 to go as we hit the penultimate lap. Kukalone, Rich, you know, out of 1 and 2, still within 2/10. And here comes the 22, within a tenth of your race leader. Going into 3 and 4, he couldn't make a move if he wants.
Looks like he's going to try around the outside, try to get a little clean air for a crossover down the front stretch.
Coming into the backstretch, side by side for your race lead as we take the white flag. 22 gets back in line.
Oh man, he was right there, but the 17 looked like it shut the door. It's all going to come down to this. What type of run can he get on the backstretch? Is it enough with the draft to get there? He's already there. He's on the back bumper of Cameron Ridge. Can Enrique Cucalon make the move for the win?
Does he put the chrome horn to the 17? He will! Back bumper to the back of the 17. 17 up the track side by side out of turn 3 and 4. Drag race to the line. Enrique Cucalon gets his first win here from Nashville.
Yes! Yes! What a race!
Cucalone win number 1, and what a way to do it, man. That's the classic bumper to run right there. And if I'm Cameron Rich, I understand being upset you don't get the win, but that's just a textbook pass there for the win there by the 22. What a win. His first win of the season. He's been so close. And I guarantee you, Matthew, he is so upset that he's not in the booth to call this. He's been wanting this 22 to go to victory lane, and then the one time he's going to victory lane, Matthew's not up here in the HPTV booth. But what a win. I'm super happy for Enrique. You know, I raced with him on Tuesday. Super good guy. You know, also, you know, has experience up here in the booth. Now, obviously not here for HPTV, but I love this 22. I love what he does in the car. Just super happy for him and that whole 22 team. Congratulations, Enrique. We'll see if he wants to burn it down here on the front stretch. If not, we'll get ready to take a quick commercial break. We didn't get the opportunity to all race. I mean, the racing was so good. We didn't get the opportunity to, you know, take our ad break here during the broadcast. The Bryson Bird back up here. There he goes. I think he was waiting on his friend out there in the 53 to come celebrate with them.
Oh!
And you'll see that 22 start to burn it down here on the front stretch here at Nashville Superspeedway. Congratulations, Enrique. I mean, what a win. What a win. If you're going to win any race, that's the way to do it.
I mean, it's so hard to pull off a bump and run without wrecking the guy on a track like Nashville. And Enrique looked like he did it with just ease, sent it in there, drove under him, got to the win. He had to cut down the deficit from 1.9 seconds. I mean, he wasn't even in the top 5 for most of this race. I would have thought it was the 17 or the 62, but I mean, Enrique is such a fast driver, and he totally deserves all of this win. Perfect race. We got to see so many people come to the front from the back. Perfect.
And we're going to take a quick commercial break here, and we'll get ready to start your post-race show here from Nashville Superspeedway. We'll be right back with you to talk to your top 3 on the other half of this commercial.
Premier Racing setups is the...
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
As we welcome you back to the post-race show here for the AWC Pro Series from Nashville Superspeedway, we're looking at the driver who just won it in, you know, glorious fashion here, Enrique Cucalon, winner here from Nashville. Let's go ahead and talk to the 22. Evan Kuklan up here in the HBTV booth. We actually we're still waiting on people to join up here, but we'll continue to bring it back to Carter. I mean, what a way to win this race! Bump and run at the end there on the last corner of the last lap to get his first win of the season.
Yeah, if you want to win in style, man, I mean, that's the way to do it. You can't even be mad at a bump and run like that. You know, it's so clean. You can be mad at a guy wrecking you, but the 17 really at the end of the day allowed the 22 to get to his bumper. If you're that close, you've most likely got to expect something's going to happen.
I read in the chat, David McGuire, after Enrique blinked hard and spun, I thought his race was over. I think a lot of people thought his race was over, you know, after getting caught up in that wreck and doing stuff, but somehow he was able to navigate his way back up to the front. And you know, he needed all those 125 laps to get to the front here, and he did it. But we have Enrique up here in victory lane. Let's go ahead and talk to the 22 machine. Enrique, it's Christian and Carter up here in the HV2 booth. You got a coffee?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Well, first of all, you know, we've seen so many heartbreaking stories here, especially this season with you and this 22 team. So first of all, from me to you, congratulations. Obviously, you know I race with you on Tuesdays and have a lot of respect for you as a driver, but finally getting it done here. A bump and run on the last lap here from Nashville's Superspeedway. Just walk us through your race. Walk us through, you know, that run to get to the 17 there.
You know, we started this race from, I believe it was 9th. Didn't really have the best qualifying efforts of all time. But I knew we had a fast car based off what I saw in practice, and you know, at that point it was just trying to go back to the front. And you know, we did so in that first run of the race. Then my game froze for some reason when I was trying to pass for third, I believe at the time. And then I spun, the car went around, we had some damage on the back end, so then was like, hey, you know, how far ahead we can get, you know, by the time we get to the end of the race. And we took tires, we fixed the damage, we went back out. Then I believe Gavin got wrecked. I slid through that incident, so you know the tires were shot at that point, and you know, I had to deal with those tires until the final caution came out. We took tires on that one, and then you know, I don't know where I think we restarted like 5th or 7th on the inside. And you know, I'll tell you, I'm not that good on the short run, so you know, it was a big chore to get past Hilberto and Fidel and Javier. So like they put up a big battle, but once I got past them, I knew I had the car to possibly maybe contend for the podium. You know, because I saw my teammates up there, Bryson White and Michael, like they were fighting hard, and I was like, you know, if they keep fighting like that, you know, maybe I can get up to second. And you know, once I got past them, I saw Cameron, I saw me making up time on Cameron, and Brett, who was in the chat with us, just I kept telling him like, hey, you know, give me the lap times. Am I faster than him? How much? You know, by how much am I faster than him? And you know, I coming back to 10 to go, I didn't feel like I was gonna have the time to probably get to Cameron. You know, because the dirty era stuff, but you know, lap after lap, I could just keep going at it again and again and again, and like on the last line, it's like I'm sorry, but I'm not someone that gets aggressive, but I just had to use the bumper. Like the amount of times that I've come so close to winning, and like you mentioned it, Daytona last season, Daytona this season, Texas, Bristol, like there's been so many opportunities where we could have capitalized on them, and dude, finally, it's just, it's so unbelievable to think right now that, you know, after 2 years of league racing, I'm finally where I wanted to be.
Well, no, a long time coming, but you know, we all know that you're super quick up here, especially when you have that 22 on the side of the door. But you know, walking us through, you know, just the whole wreck, right? Obviously, you were wrecked out, you blinked out, and you spun out there. What was just that mentality of getting back up to the front?
Yeah, I knew I had one of the faster long run cars throughout most of the race. Like I'm pretty good on the long run, and most of the tracks we go to. California last week was an opportunity that we didn't capitalize on. We got into an incident. It was, you know, we got an EOL, but here I knew we had a fast car on the long run. It's just, you know, can we get those long runs? Because there's been so many times where a caution comes out and it just cuts the long run. And you know, after the almost game crash that we had. You could call it that. Um, like I didn't. If you would have asked me then that if you would have told me then that I would be sitting here in victory lane, I wouldn't have believed you. It's like I knew I was fast, but not that fast. Especially after however many cars I had to pass there on the final run. It's just it was I don't like it's unbelievable that I'm even sitting here considering what we had to go through.
Well, fantastic finish, a fantastic, last 10 lap run here. Get your first win. Carter, anything you want to add to him before we send him off?
Well, I just thought your use of the chrome horn was perfect. So nice on you for not wrecking Cameron there, and thank you for making this exciting.
Um, yeah, as I said, I don't typically lay the bumper to people. I'm a pretty calm guy. A lot of guys have respect for me, and but I felt like, I just had to do it. Like the opportunity was there, it was presented to me, and I didn't really want to wreck him, so I just gave him, I just drove it into three a little bit too hard and got into his back bumper. But like, it's for the win, and I understand.
I mean, you put it perfectly right there. You race for the win. I mean, guys are that's what you expect when you race for win here, especially how hard it is to get a win here in the Pro Series. But Enrique, congratulations on your first win of the here in the Pro Series. Before I let you go, anybody you want to thank? Shout out sponsors, friends, family, anybody you want to thank for this win tonight.
Dude, there's so many people I could thank right now, but first of all, I gotta thank my family. I gotta thank my friends who are always there supporting me. Um, every single day. Like I tell them, and they sometimes don't really understand what I'm talking about, but they're always there, helping me. Shout out to all my teammates, Brett, Bryson, Mikey, Wyatt, Zach, Tyler, Shane. Like there's so many of them that it's a whole ass list that I could give you. Thank you to the people in the chat. Thank you so much to Lane, especially. She is always on the back bumper of the car, and I'm pretty sure she's very happy with the sponsor of tonight's race car. But yeah, we bring some pretty good designs. Operation 300, Shell Pencil, AAA Auto Trader, Ford. Just there's so many people that I would like to thank right now, but of course I know you guys have to still interview the other two guys. So um, everyone, I love you so much. This is a win. This is a win that has been a long time coming, and I'm hopeful that we can repeat it, more times in the future. You never know what's gonna be your last one, but for me, it's my first one, and I'm definitely gonna fucking celebrate it because man, that was amazing. Thank you guys as well for putting on this amazing broadcast. I'll definitely go back and watch it. Love you guys.
Yeah, we appreciate the kind words up in the booth, and congratulations, Enrique. You were in the celebration. Go celebrate, man. We'll let you go, and hopefully we can talk to you some more back down here in Victory Lane this season.
Hell yeah, guys. Love you.
I expected that coming from Enrique. He had Heartbreak City here a couple times here, the Pro Series, but ready to get Cameron. I think Carter has Cameron down here in pit road.
Well, Cameron Rich, this is Delgado and Kingsley up in the booth. To me personally, you were up front pretty much the entire race. Sort of walk us through that last run and how it went for you.
Yeah, it felt like I was in dirty air just about the whole race. Was behind Michael there, and I learned about a trick literally like about 2 minutes ago after the race that probably would have helped my fortunes a little bit. Apparently, people were running like minimum brake bias in the car, like just to help the thing turn, which makes a lot of sense because I had mine cranked pretty far back, but some of these people were running in the 40s, which is pretty wild. But yeah, I mean, just dirty air was the name of the game. It was hard to pass. Enrique was on another level tonight with his long run pace, and he was using that trick. So, congrats to him. I mean, that finish was pretty awesome there. You never want to be on the end of like a bump and run where you're the one getting bumped and ran, but honestly, with how fast Enrique was there, and I know he's going for his first win. He's been around here since day one. It's kind of to be expected, and it was clean. It was, you know, I kind of braced myself for it, and I tried to get back to the gas, and the car just was up in the marbles and was not really turning, and he got around me and won the race. So, yeah, just congrats to him. There's no hard feelings about that move, but yeah, just a lot of dirty air, and I mean, there's really no like alternate lines here in Nashville, unfortunately. Like, there's you can kind of change your entry a little bit on both ends of the track, but really it's like a low line fest. So it's one line kind of after a few laps on the tires, everybody's kind of running that same line, which just makes it incredibly hard to pass. But yeah, I mean, I don't really think I was the fastest car at any point tonight. I think that I had a lot of luck on my side and maybe was the second or third fastest. When Michael got that penalty there, and I was able to get around Fidel, but Fidel also got a penalty, and you know, just and Enrique, he had some early issues, and he was able to drive through the field and come back. So just, I wish I could have held on a little bit longer there. And I mean, like literally last corner of the race, it's a tough break a little bit to finish second in AWC again, but I'm kind of just using these races as like testing. Um, kind of I've kind of been out of full-time league racing since 2023, and I kind of want to get back into it. I've already got a little gig lined up for another league that I currently commentate for. So uh, good little practice here with the aero updates and just kind of just seeing how things work. And honestly, Nashville is one of my it's a track I've always struggled at for whatever reason throughout the years, and it's good to figure out some things about how it drives, even though, you know, you're just not going to win every race, right? So congrats to Enrique again. I mean, I'm glad he got his first win. What a way to do it.
Yeah, we saw
I'm
you get out to a 1.9 second lead at one point. At that point in the race, were you trying to conserve or were you still balls to the wall?
I was conserving until about, I don't know, maybe 25 to go, maybe lap, 100. I think I started to try to pick it up a little bit there because, I saw that I was kind of gapping everyone else. And then kind of towards the end there, I saw Enrique also coming through the field and starting to catch me. So at that point, I was like, well, I can't really worry about everybody else. I got to pick it up myself. And, he had just had the better tires because I'll have to try that brake bias trick. I mean, at 56 to 47, I think what he was running, that's a pretty big difference. So obviously there's some merit to that, and maybe over the years that might explain why I've not been as fast at Nashville as I've liked to, because I'm sure people have done that before tonight. So it's good to know. It's good to know.
Well, learning new tricks, even as experienced of a league racer you are, and you put up quite the performance tonight. Anybody you want to shout out? Any sponsors, friends, family?
Yeah, I've been at Redux. Daniel, Noah, Fidel, Darren, Adam, Ty, Bojo. God, I'm probably forgetting someone tonight, but if I forgot you, I'm sorry. Yeah, and you guys, I mean, I commentate in a couple other leagues, and shoot, sometimes this crap is annoying. Sometimes it's frustrating. Sometimes it drags on long. But I hope at least that finish was pretty exciting to commentate. I mean, hell, you don't usually get a little bump and run move at the end of a Nashville race. So rough there at the beginning. Glad it cleaned up there at the end. Hope you guys had fun. And yeah, I turned on. I'm a Cardinals fan. I turned on the game literally like right before y'all pulled me up here, and it had literally just like gone final, and they won. So that's a pretty good night. I'll take that too.
Well, thank you for the kind words and great job on the P2. Should get you some very valuable points, and hopefully we'll see you up here again soon.
Thanks, guys. Y'all have a good one.
Cameron Rich comes home, Pete in Hi, Rob. Back in pit road. I talked to the 42 of Wyatt. Hey, Wyatt, it's Christian and Carter up here in the HBTV booth. You got a copy?
Yes, I do.
Well, a P3 finish for you, and really, you showed to have pretty good pace throughout the whole race there, and we're able to get around, the counterparts of Fidel, Kruger, and Bryson Bird there at the end there. But showed pretty good pace throughout the whole race there. Walk us through your race and what got you up here inside this podium spot.
Yeah, qualified pretty good. Started fourth place. Unfortunately, I was involved in that early wreck with Zach Probst. I feel bad. It was a racing deal, but it sucks to be involved in a wreck super early. But for me, it was minimal damage. We stayed out, and we were up around that like top 6 area, maybe top 7 all day. Um, but got up to second for the final run. But the dirty air, I think, is what really messed me up. Because following Cameron Rich, I mean, I could stay with him somewhat, but I think it was just tighter following him, and that burnt my right front tire up. So he pulled away. Then uh, my teammate Bryson Bird, he kind of wanted to go past. He was a little bit faster. He wanted to give a shot at trying to catch Cameron Rich, but it was pretty much the same thing. Didn't make up too much ground. I got back past him, but my teammate Enrique got me for second place, so put me back to third. But was able to hold off Fidel to keep that top 3 spot. So, yeah.
Looking at the race that happened, right? We had a couple of little shorter cautions that allowed you guys to kind of race it out hard, but we also had those long green flag runs. Talking like about one that ended the race there, 48 laps. What was kind of like the key differences between having to go 48 laps through the end versus those shorter maybe 15 lap 20 stints there?
Yeah, I mean, this is being a concrete track. You really got to manage your tires good here. Um, and you had 3 sets of tires in the pits, so and depending on how many cautions, there's definitely some strategy to be played possibly there. But like, it just the track falls off a lot in lap time. You really got to manage that right front. So I was running most of these as if they were long runs, but it's just like I think I was just maybe getting on the gas a little too early or running a little higher up on the track, trying to get out of Cameron Rich's dirty air, and it burnt my tires up a little bit. But I mean, it was nice to have a long run towards the end, though. We really got to see over. It was basically a perfect fuel run. I was about run out of fuel at the end, so we really got to see who was the best tire saver there at the end.
It's definitely interesting to see as well, from up here in the booth to see, people drop back, people drive through the field, and obviously see where everything shook out here at the end. But still a good P3 finish for you as you try to, work your way up through the points as well, going into the chase. Only 3 races left in the chase. Obviously, you have a pretty decent cushion going into these next couple races, but is there still kind of a mindset to continue to build that cushion into the chase?
Yeah, definitely still want to be getting good runs. I don't know unless something crazy happens if I'm gonna somehow gain like 70 points on Bryson Bird, but I mean, I did get him by 5 spots today. But the way the chase works in this league is only the leader gets regular season chase bonus points. So really, you want to win the regular season. But other than that, I mean, still hopefully have some good runs. I'd love to get a win finally. Um, been up here in the top 3 so many times, but you get a win, you get I think 3 bonus points for the chase. So it'd be super nice to get that. But right now, comfortably sitting in third in the points. So just got to close it out for the next 3 races. Some wild cards, definitely wild cards coming up with Eldora, Sebring, and Talladega. So
I definitely agree. The Eldora charity race is gonna be fun to call in. You go to Sebring and unknown, kind of racetrack for these O'Reilly machines, and then Talladega. We don't not much to say with that, but there's one of those tracks kind of circled on your calendar. You said you wanted to win to kind of secure some, points for the chase. Is any of those really circled on the calendar as ones that you think you have a good shot at getting that first win at?
I guess I'll go through them. Eldora is where I made my first start in AWC last season. I got an 8th place surprisingly, but I'm not really too much of a dirt racer. But that race will probably be a lot about avoiding some carnage. Sebring, I like road course racing. It really depends how I run there, of course, and what my competition is running. But I mean, I've ran the Sebring 12 hours multiple times in the sports cars, and I like road course racing. So I think that might be my best chance. Um, but also Talladega, I mean, that's anyone's game. But hey, I've had some good runs on the plate races, so um, got 3rd place there last season when it was or actually no, I think it was the cutoff race last season also. But yeah, 3rd place run, maybe run it back even better.
That's the goal for you and this whole 42 team. But once again, White, congratulations on another good run here from Nashville Superspeedway. Before we let you go, anybody you want to shout out, thank friends, family, sponsors, anybody that you'd like to thank for this run tonight here from Nashville?
Of course, as always, like to thank my dad. Watches all the broadcast races, and he's a huge supporter. Um, Also my team in here, Circumference Ultimate Motorsports, Bryson Bird, Enrique. Super duper happy once again for Enrique getting his first win here in AWC. Um, he deserved it today, man. He had an amazing final run. Also, Mikey, he had a great run. It just unfortunately he got involved in that caution, gave him an EOL. Uh, but he rallied back somewhat. But and I think he probably is going to be solid in the playoffs now. Shout out to my endurance team, Adrenaline Motorsports, looking to run the Laguna Seca special event this weekend. And of course, thanks to you guys in the HVTV booth for putting on a great broadcast.
Well, we definitely appreciate the kind words up here in the booth, and we wish you good luck here in these next 3 weeks as you try to continue to march your way through into the chase. And hopefully, we can talk to you maybe up here a couple spots better here in these next couple of weeks. But good luck finishing out this regular season.
Yep, thank you.
Wyatt Roberts comes home P3 from Nashville tonight, and Carter, what like I'm gonna continue to say this, but just what a way to finish that race. I mean, that's
Oof.
almost the way you plan it out, right? You have some guy who drives right through the field and has to catch the leader and gets to him on the last lap, puts the bumper to him and wins. And like it's such a entertaining fashion.
Man, it's not often you see something like this, Christian, and it's always very special when it happens. And I'm so glad we had so many fans watching tonight to see it happen because a lot of times in iRacing, especially when it gets to long runs, the person in front, I mean, there could be jostling between, second, third, fourth, first at the beginning of those long runs. Then it sorts out, and then whoever is usually good by the midpoint of that run just usually extends the lead. But we were able to see Enrique just, come up through the ranks. I mean, even abusing his tires, but they were still good enough to make it to the 17. And it's just always so special to see a race pan out like this, especially one where we didn't even have time to go to commercial because of how much action there was on track. So yeah, very special.
Well, it's even better that that was his first win of the in AWC career here, in the league. It's just so special, right? Not only that you get a win here in that kind of way, but that's your first win. That's what you make that mark on going into the future. And for someone who races with the 22 and a lot of these guys here on Tuesdays, another league, I'm super happy for Enrique. He's always races me super respectful for the part, and it's just a huge congratulations to him. I know how much this him. He's come bridesmaid more than a handful of times through his starts here with the AWC Pro Series. So congratulations to that whole team and everything else. But I think it's time to go through and get you nice race before we call the night here. Obviously, we talked to the top three tonight and Mona, Rich, and Roberts, but Fidel Fabian back to a P4 finish. Michael Kruger rounds out that top five. Gilberto Gamero, we talked about it. Him so sneaky and always like quietly working way up inside the top. And he gets a P6 finish. Bryson Bird falls back to P7 after, being a race contender. I thought Brendan Reed in the 57 will come home P8. Javier Soto comes home P9. And Adam Talon, the 34, with the top 10 finish.
Looking past the top 10, we have Christopher Logan in the 70, who I don't actually think we talked much during the race about. Jacob D. Davis in the 5 Pepsi machine was up there. Looks like he comes to a 12th place finish. The 40 of Joshua Nunes, 13th. Mason Cochran, the 92 in 14th. We saw him in that scuffle between the 5 and who was it, the 34? He went bottom 3 wide, decided to back out of it. Past that, we have the 91, Shane O'Neill in 15th spot. The 7 of Ryan Ronabaum in the Deftones car. He was way up there in the mix. Unfortunately, back to 16th after some complications. 17th, the 47 will go to Sam Beltwell. 18th, the 06 of Brett Bennett. Glad to see him in the top 20 after a long day on pit road, constantly during cautions. Glad he is able to make all those places up. Taylor Strong. We saw them in the 11 car get the free pass, get back on the lead lap. Looks like they'll finish one lap down 19th position, and 20th will go to Vic Bloom in the 49 car.
Kind of got the rest of the field tonight. Out early, we saw Joel Farlow. God, I presume there was some type of internet sort of deal here. Obviously, he had issues throughout the whole year. Didn't really get to see what happened in the there, but a huge blow in the points for that whole 24. For Gavin Austin, we saw out early, fortunately off the bumper, the 41. Out early, he'll finish P22. And Zach Probst, calling it night early after getting a penalty, will finish P3. Preston Salmon, Henry Calhoff, Jake Scarborough, Ty McIntosh, Aiden Lucas, and Darren Stapp all caught up in wrecks throughout the race. Out early, rounding out fourth on back. But once again, what a finish, what a race. Me, at least up here in the booth, I presume I talked for Carter as well. Had a fantastic time calling this race. Honestly, it was one of the tracks I didn't really have circled on. Have the best racing. It was a single groove track and everything else, and figured it would just be kind of just sit in line and finish where you started. But we saw a lot of passing. We saw a lot of racing. Obviously, I mean, look at the winner tonight. Drove through the field to get that win tonight.
It all comes down to the talent of these drivers. These drivers in the AWC Pro Series always put on a show every single time I'm in the booth. I mean, other time was Miami. That was a fantastic race. So I got to give the props to these drivers. They always fight hard. They never get give an inch. Even Bryson Burr when he's first in points, going into the wall. That's how much he's pushing his car. And I'm always impressed to see what these drivers have in store for us each week.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how the rest of this season, at least for the regular season, kicks off, finishes off here. Obviously, we talked about it, Eldora, the charity race that we always love to come to here. As AWC will prize pool together some money and donate it to a charity and run the dirt at Eldora. We did it last year, really cool race that we did, and then we go to Sebring, which is something that I've never seen before. The O'Reilly car at Sebring. It's gonna be interesting to see how that works about. And then we end off the regular season of all places at Talladega, where anything can happen, right? We could have a surprise winner that could come out and maybe steal the show, maybe steal a chase spot with how many points you get for winning that race. So it's gonna be interesting to see how the regular season kicks off. Well, rounds out here. We just inch closer and closer and closer to the chase. But for
It'll be interesting to see. I mean, not even NR Knight has done Sebring and stock car combination, so that'll be definitely something to mark on your calendar for all the fans watching.
I definitely agree, and I'm looking forward to the end of the regular season, and to start this chase, right? Because this is where all these drivers come and race for a championship at the end of the season. We have a big pool of talented drivers, regardless if they are race for a championship. We have the Gavanos, the Ty McIntoshes who come in here, the Henry Calhoffs who come are just racing when they can. I'm excited to see what they can do, as well as they show up and show out for those races. But I think it's time to call the night here from Nashville, here in Tennessee, and call the night for week number 9 here for the AWC Pro Series Season 20. And my name is Christian Nogado and Carter Kingsley, and we all thank and welcome you guys to the broadcast. We Thank everybody for coming out and watching the broadcast, interacting in chat. I was reading the chats throughout the whole race, and we appreciate everybody coming out and participating and just being invested in the race. That's all we want, to grow this channel and to grow this network. If you guys are interested in having HVTV do any work for you guys, whether it is a league that you guys want us to commentate, if we can make it work, we will try to make it work. Whether you want to join the HVTV family and join me and Carter up in the broadcast booth, or if you are a little bit shy and just want to, dip your toes into it, you can also try to take up some producing stuff here. If we don't have a producer, we don't have a broadcast, and it's super underrated, and we do try to pay our producers a little bit more if that's something that is intriguing to anybody. But also, if you're an up-and-coming graphic designer, like our good friend Andreas Varez with Delta Designs, who works closely with us on the network. If you guys are an up-and-coming graphic designer who wants to, try to dip their toes into working in a network type of thing, if this is something you want to do as an endeavor in the future, as a career, working for a network like Fox or NBC, Prime, um, uh, or even just for NASCAR in general, making graphics and making stuff for that. We're looking for up and coming graphic designers who want to dip their toes into, you want to call it working for a network. Obviously not real racing, but this is close as we're going to get to here on the sim. So if you guys are looking for any of that, make sure to email us over at hvtvbroadcasting at AOL.com. We also do have our Discord server link down in the description down below. That is probably the easiest way to get a hold of me if you're wanting any information about the network, whether it's broadcasting related or if you just want to join the family and hang out with us as we watch the races and do stuff like that, or just hang out and be a part of the community. Or like I said, if you want to join up here in the booth, be a part of the broadcast that way. But we also have the link down below, the Discord for the AWC Discord. If you guys are wanting to race here and be on the broadcast, we definitely recommend it. These guys put on fantastic racings week in and week out. So we do have the AWC Discord link down below. We also do have Andreas Fares and the Delta Designs Twitter down below. He does fantastic work, not only for the network, but the graphics department. He makes our points graphics. He makes our thumbnails for does fantastic work, but he also does really good work for just graphics in general and for paint schemes. He makes a lot of the paint schemes that I run personally on my cars and does a fantastic job. Actually, the Gavin Austin machine you saw at Chicago Street, Andres made for the network. So we also have his Twitter link down below. If you guys are wanting any type of graphical or paint scheme made, definitely recommend Delta Design. But from here, everybody, from High Velocity TV, we're going to call it a night here from Nashville, Tennessee. We look forward into Eldora 2 weeks time. We do have a week off here for the AWC Pro Series, but we'll be back here in 2 weeks time for the Eldora charity race, once again from Eldora Speedway. Running some dirt here in these O'Reilly machines. But once again, we hope everybody has a good rest of your weekend. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Enjoy your Friday, and enjoy the racing here as we get ready to kick off Bristol week here for NASCAR weekend. But once again, we appreciate everybody for coming out and watching tonight's broadcast, and we will see you guys tomorrow for the ISNF Cup Series as they go to Bristol, and then we'll be doing some more High Velocity TV after dark. Next gen Talladega with the 110% horsepower package, and we'll also be doing O'Reilly Vegas. So if you guys are looking for some racing late Saturday night after the Xfinity race, make sure to come and join us for HV Dark. But once again, we hope everybody has a great rest of the night, and we'll see you guys tomorrow for some more racing action.